morning, everyone. Today is June 10th, 2025. It's been a day so far. So I woke up 9:55 and I was like, hey, the alarm said, like, get on Grow Garden, like, do the hourly event, whatever. I did that. And then I heard my grandpa yapping downstairs talking to Corey. So I went downstairs and we had a crazy conversation, probably from like 10:15 to like almost 1 o'clock, about politics and like what I'm up to and like how the economy works and like all this stuff. It was so stimulating, so interesting. And last night I was like getting like a sore throat and I was like, I'm not gonna feel that good tomorrow. So I've been kind of like battling like the sickness. So I've like been really in control all day and like not getting heated about anything. But just in summary of the conversation, it was really interesting to hear his opinion from an older generation, because he talked about, like, in the 60s and 70s making 20 grand a year and being able to support a family, buy a home, and all this stuff. And like, grandpa, houses have gone up 80 times. Like, you bought a house for 11,000, now I'm looking at 44,000. Like, it's gone up 40 times. I don't know why I said 80. Gone up 40 times in value for the same home, but our wages have doubled. So I'm making 40 grand, but houses are 10 times my income. You were making 20 grand and you could buy a house in a year. It's so crazy to think that the economy's changed that much, And I was talking with him about it, and I could very clearly tell we agreed on a lot of issues that existed and completely disagreed on actions that would be taken to remedy them. And so last night on my video, like, I talked about, like, allowing education to allow people to become conscious so they feel like their self is actualized before they're integrated into society. And he's sitting there going, no, you have to, like, cause pain to people and like have consequences, like severe physical consequences and repercussions. And I'm sitting there going, like, that's interesting and all, but what is that actually gonna do, grandpa? Like what is it gonna do? And I'm like, you already have the older generation that's so far deep in wealth that there's no more capital for us. And so that was like the basis of the conversation. And he was like, yeah, I believe everyone needs to pay their fair share. And I'm like, what is fair to you? Like, what is the fair share? And he was like, everyone pays a 10% taxes. And I was just like, okay, grandpa, the government is now $5 trillion deficit year over year. Like, that's just it. Like, if you only tax 10%, and he was like, oh, okay, then I'll do 13%. I'm like, you're $4.8 trillion down. Like, you have to tax more. You have to tax more. And I'm like, there are people out there who have so much wealth that they can't spend it all. And I'm like explaining this all to him, and he's not getting it. And he's talking about how I could do more. And he thinks the thing to run for president is very interesting. But he the first thing he says is, you won't make it. I'm like, I know that, grandpa. I know. That's the beautiful part. But if I can make one person's life better, if I can help one person learn something new, if I can help one person smile, that's enough for me. And he was like, there are millions and millions and billions of people. How many people do you see who make the world a better place, Kyle? And I was just like, grandpa, you're sitting right in front of me. And he goes, you think you've made the world a better place? I was like, no, I think you've made the world a better place. I was like, you raised 3 kids. You worked as a mechanic for years. You fixed things. You built stuff. You changed the world for the better. You, in your church, you go and help build people's fences. He goes, oh, well, I wouldn't say that I make the world a better place. I'm like, grandpa, I would. So to you, maybe like making the world a better place isn't possible. But to me, everyone makes the world a different place all the time. People like him make it better. And it was a really good conversation. A lot of his stuff was like really circular. Like, oh, we need free trade, but I'll always buy American goods. And I'm just like, okay, yeah. And he goes, yeah, but Japan shouldn't be tariffing the U.S.'s rice, like imports. And I'm like, grandpa, they have 200 rice companies. If they imported American rice at cost, all those 200 companies are going to go under. And he goes, oh, well, yeah, like, whatever. And I'm like, but Japanese people have the same thing you do. They want to buy Japanese products. Like, that's imperialism. We all have it. That's nationalism. That's patriotism. We all want to buy our country's goods. That's normal. And I'm like, Japan has it just as much as America does. And he was like, oh, well, we should just have free trade. And I'm like, okay, so you're for globalization. And he goes, no, we need different countries. I'm like, bro, you're really walking it back. Like, the world he wants is very particular, but thinking it that much deeper just doesn't work. I'm like, logistically, like my grandpa has to understand, as the sitting president, I have to think of the logistics. Like, when I'm the sitting president, I will have to think logistically, how is this going to work? How is this going to happen? What will the effects be? I have to think of those things. He can sit there and go, oh, it should, it should, it should. But when I sit there and nitpick and think about what would actually occur in those scenarios, it falls apart. That's okay. That's normal. It's fine. So yeah, goals for the day: brush teeth, morning video log, got that out of the way. Water plants outside, did that. Yard work, de-weed, I haven't done that yet. I need to fold the clothes, wash socks. I have them in the wash right now. Some random person just messaged me. And then I need to take trash out to the curb tonight. My mom has some stuff she wants to drop off at the youth ranch. I need to do a recovery video log for Saturday and for Sunday, and I added some video logs. And yeah, that's all the plans I have for the day. Plants are watered. It's a little hot out, so I'm hoping they don't like burn up and die. But if the sprouts live, the sprouts live. If they don't, I have beans. So yeah. Anyways, I will see you all this evening. I hope you have a wonderful day.
One eternity later.
Hey, good evening, everyone, or good day, I guess. This will be a recovery video log for June 10th, 2025. It was a Tuesday. It was our day off, and I came down with like a sore throat at the very late Monday night, and I just felt like crap all day Tuesday. So I was like, I made my video log early morning after I'd gotten done talking to my grandpa, and we had a very interesting conversation. We talked about like politics and all that. It was very fun. He was talking with Corey about something, and Corey was just like, or he had asked about my insurance business, which I'm not doing anymore. And was just like, Corey was like, are you going to tell him what you're up to? And I was like, do I want to, bro? Like, Grandpa can... But we had a good conversation. It was really, really fun. And, yeah, so after that, Grandpa left. I came upstairs and made the video log, and then I watered the plants outside. And then Ava and I went and picked up Yvette, and then we got some Burger King on the way home. And then I played some Roblox, and then watched some solo leveling with her and Yvette. They watched the High Orc, it wasn't a red gate, it was like a... It was when he gets Tusk, the mage, the High Orcs. It was actually a really good scene in the anime. I still think it was better than the manga, low-key, manhwa. But then afterwards, I like came in here and took a nap, and I was like laying there for like 3 hours, just not having a good time, dude. It sucked. And then Ava came in and woke me up and was like, hey, you need to stop laying in blankets. You need to like go lay where there's sheets or something, or get up and do something. And so I got up and played some CS2, and I was just like, ugh. And then around 8 o'clock, I went and laid down on our bed, and then like called Ava and was like, hey, you're at Summers? And she's like, yeah, I'm making spaghetti for dinner. And I was like, I could come hang out, but I did not want spaghetti at all. So I got Panda Express and ate there. And then all the kids were eating their spaghetti and stuff. It looked super good, but I was just like, I could not deal with it. When I'm sick, I can't deal with acidic food that well. Like, just because puke is acidic, so like when I feel something acidic, I'm always just like, ugh. Especially like tomatoes, I'm just like, ugh. Like, they're my least favorite sick food. But she got it, and then I went over there and ate my Panda Express there, and we also watching the Twilight movies, dude. So, like, not bad. Like, I remember it being like pretty cringe. Like, there was, dude, how old are you? 17. How long have you been 17? A while. Red flag, dude. Terrible communication skills. Terrible communication skills. But it was like low key and entertaining. I was like kind of getting sucked into the plot, and so I was like, dang, I'm gonna have to like actually watch the Twilight movies now. And then yeah. And then afterwards we went home, and then we were just like so tired. We were just like. I was like, I didn't want to make a video log because I just couldn't stand like talking, like even playing video games all day. I was just like, hey guys, they're on B. Like, just like I'm not like I'm so like incapacitated, I guess. But yeah. And then when we got home, I edited 2 video logs, so I have those to upload. I'm uploading one right now, I think. Yeah. So I get to upload another one. I'll just do it real quick. 517 video log. I honestly, editing and uploading video logs is like the most lame part of doing all this. Like, I love sitting on camera yapping, but gosh, just editing, uploading, making descriptions. How many days until Presidency? 14, 17th, 14, 27, 141. 14,127 days until Presidency, which is really interesting. I think it's kind of cool to keep track in the descriptions of how long until I'm going to be president. I think it's really cool. But yeah, I don't really have like a particular video log or a video log in a video log. I don't have a particular like daily thought for the day. My grandpa is very interesting. Daily thought, vaguely about conversation with grandfather. My grandpa's a really interesting guy. I like talked about it briefly all day and was just kind of like my grandpa and I agree on a lot of fundamental issues, but what he has problems with are social issues, not policy issues. And so what I found during our conversation was he would say one thing and then talk about like what would happen afterwards, and I'm like, Grandpa, you're talking about what you like, you're disagreeing with yourself. And he was like, he would say something like, I believe in free trade. And then I'd be like, okay, but if America can't manufacture, or if other places are manufacturing certain things better, they're cheaper in America, those American companies are going to go out of business. And he goes, well, yeah, but I would buy American. And so we kind of had this like circular conversation, like circular arguments. And there was tariffs that we talked about. And he was very obviously like, he said that he believed in a free market, but everything he said afterwards was like pro tariff. Like he agreed tariffs are a good thing. And like I feel like his issue with tariffs was just like the money went to the government for whatever. Like he was like they're charging us to import, and I'm like, yeah, Grandpa, that's a tariff. Like you're talking about tariffs. Tariffs are good. And I'm like, if we try to sell rice to Japan, and they have 200 rice companies, and we have one going into Japan, and we can undercut all of them, they're gonna lose 200 businesses. Like you don't want that. Those are jobs. And he was like, yeah, well, yeah, but and I'm like, Grandpa, like they want to buy Japanese companies. Like they want to buy homegrown goods just like we do. Like we want that. But like blanket tariffs are stupid. Like we had a good conversation about it, and then we talked about like corruption and how like corruption is often unpunished. And he was like, Kyle, you're an honest guy. I don't think you could be an honest leader. And I'm like, who's gonna do it? Like who's gonna do it if not me? Like who else is gonna go and just be genuinely honest and good and true, and not be corrupt and funded by billionaires? And he'd be like, well, yeah, but like people, they're obviously doing this for a reason. I'm like, yeah, because they're being bribed. And he was like, no, bribery is legal. And I was like, Grandpa, you're. And he was like talking positively about like how some companies will like go to politicians and have them change policy. I was like, Grandpa, you're talking about lobbying. You're talking about bribery. Like you're talking about bribery, but also saying bribery is bad, but it's good for this. Like you're like it's so backwards in like what he actually believes versus what he believes he believes. And so it's like logistically, him and I agree, but ideally, he thinks it's the other way. And so I'm like, okay, very clearly, I'm just much more educated on these topics, and that's fine. He is much more educated in a million other areas. I can sit here and look at politics and policy and geopolitics and trade and the economy and understand the intricacies of it much better than he can. And that's okay. And he was talking about how we need like fair taxes, like everyone pays 10%. And I think I mentioned that on the morning video log, but I'm just like, okay, but that's not fair. Like you're taxing the guy who makes $1,000,000 a year 10%, and the guy who makes $1,000,000,000 a year 10%. Like that like I understand that he doesn't have a connection between what these numbers mean, but when you sit there and understand that there is only a certain amount of money people can spend in a year, taxing them more doesn't hurt them. It doesn't hurt. Like it doesn't hurt. And he talked about when his taxes were raised and it like hurt. And I'm like, yeah, but there are people who you can raise their taxes to 99% and it doesn't hurt. Like they don't even feel it. Their life doesn't change. And I'm like, Grandpa, you have to understand. And like he would talk about his economy growing up versus the economy now, and just be like, oh, people have the same opportunities. And he's like, I was making $1 an hour, and I was like, dude, your $1 an hour is like $30 an hour now. Like it was $1 an hour, but you could buy a hamburger for 5 cents. So you were making 20 times. You could buy 20 hamburgers in an hour. I can buy 4. Like that's the difference. And I know we have to use burgers because it's America. But it's like that's the difference in today. And I'm like, you were making $1 an hour and you could buy an $11,000 house. For me to do that, I'd have to be making $40 an hour to buy a $400,000 house. And interest hurts me more because the numbers are higher. Like I don't know how to explain that prices have gone up, assets have gone up, wages have stagnated. Like, you don't understand this. And I'm like, Grandpa, if you know 20 people who are doing well, I'm glad for them. But I know for every person who's doing well, there's statistically 7 more struggling severely. Like, severely. And so I'm just like, you have to understand that when you look at those things, like, I'm looking at the 7 other people who are struggling severely. You can see the 3 out of 10 who are doing, you can see the 1 out of 10 who's doing well, and the 2 who are doing good, and be like, yeah, the world's a good place. But I'm looking at the 7 who need help. Like, that's what I'm looking at. And he has this mindset of like, oh, they're just not working. They're just not working. And I'm like, Grandpa, they're working. Everyone's working, dude. We're trying our best. But when the work isn't as satisfying for us as it was for you, and you can complain about making $1 an hour, your dollar bought more than my dollar. Your dollar buys more than my $20. Like, that's insane. And it's like the world has changed so much, but the mindset hasn't. And so I'm like, okay, like I gotta take everything he says with a big grain of salt, you know. So yeah, it was really fun. It was really interesting. It's very, very interesting to see him like bash on the news media as well, and then be like regurgitating news media terms. And I'm like, where are you hearing this, dude? Like, you're talking about news media like it's bad, but you watch it. And he's like, you'll never see news on at my house. Okay, it's on your phone. Like, you don't need to play it on the TV anymore. You can just watch it on your phone. That's why I know you're getting your information. Like, it's obvious. You're not looking at numbers and drawing your own conclusions, which it's fine that you're not, but you have to be aware of that you're not. That's all I'll say. So, anyways, I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. I know I did, even though I'm sick and dying. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good one.